Grand Rising, everyone. It's Ron. Sunday, December 14th, a little after 11 a.m. We'll get started. See if we have any questions. We had a another awesome day yesterday. We continued the discussion on the elevated and the unelevated. We included those who are have transitioned and those who we term to be walking dead, meaning not spiritually alive, not knowing who they are, still being steeped in religion, and what our responsibilities are to those kind of things, those kind of people, and our prayers and meditations and those. And we talked about a number of things, but uh, any of that you may have a question or comment about. Um,
Ron, I have a question.
yes, ma'am.
Grand Rising family and honor to the ancestors. Pastor Jay, are we the walking dead when we don't know who we are? And you may have said this, a lot was said over the week about that, but are we the walking dead when we don't know who we are?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. The reason, if being Elohim, if knowing that you are Elohim is the source of life, and it is, then if you don't know that you're Elohim, you are the walking dead and don't know that you're dead because you are not. You're not living as the life source in the earth. Does that help?
Yes, sir. So all we have to do is just know that we are Elohim.
Well, it depends on how you look at knowing. Knowing, you can know something and not do it, but knowing it
Okay.
and living it is extremely necessary if you're going to be the life force. Excuse me. For example, I spoke earlier, a few weeks ago rather, about this person with whom I spoke when I saw a difference in what we had been teaching and what we should have been teaching. And that person says to me that I can't go before my people and tell them that I've been wrong all this time. Well, that was indicative of him knowing that he had been teaching wrong, but he did not change the way he was teaching. So it's more to it than just knowing it. You have to live it. You have to be expressive of it.
Also,
But
is the
knowing is,
European, I apologize, I you.
no, I just want to add this because I think this is relevant to what you guys, this last question. Knowing speaks of an intimacy. Just being aware of something or having heard it is not the same as knowing it. Uh,
Well, let me interject something at this point, Ron.
okay.
Excuse me. When she asked me about knowing, I dealt with knowing not from the spiritual understanding of knowing, but knowing from the aspect that we use colloquially.
Okay.
The colloquial understanding of knowing is something that you have information about.
Okay.
That's where I was coming from. And you're absolutely right. Knowing is an intimacy when we talk about it spiritually.
Thank you. I'm
No,
sorry.
thank you. I'm glad you brought it up because we needed to make that differentiation.
Okay.
Okay. So when we walk in authority, knowing who we are, knowing that we transfer negative energy, we give out good energy. That's part of being Elohim. And yeah, that's another question I have.
When we transform energy, yes, that is the essence of Elohim. There are some things that I would like to make mention of a little bit later on in regards to um, the power of Hashem in that area. in particular, but also in every aspect of our lives. But yes, and again, using the understanding of knowing, as Ron said earlier, is being intimate. Be intimate
Okay.
with who you are.
So the moment I walk in the agency, if I come in there in a bad mood or bringing in that negative energy.
If you walk in that
Nope.
agency and you're not in a good mood, and you know you're not, because there are sometimes you're not in a good mood, you don't even recognize it. If you walk in that agency like that, then you're not being true to your ashe.
And one more question for right now. If you're
Can I add
finished.
something, Evelyn? Evelyn, can I add something
Yes.
to what Pastor said? And not only that, you knowingly create that negative environment for yourself. You choose to create. If you walk in there and you know who you are, you choose to create that negative environment for you.
And Barbara, it seems as if I come in there, even though sometimes, like Pastor say, you're not always in a good mood or whatever, but the moment I come in there and I change my mood to something positive and uplifting, that affects the whole universe. I'm not just going to limit it to the agency, but the whole universe.
Yes, ma'am. It's powerful.
One more question for right now.
Oh, what you said earlier.
I said, yeah, but it's a new minute. But anyway, Pastor Jay, if
Go
I
ahead.
have a European mindset,
Mm-hmm.
does that mean I'm a walking dead?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's not the life force. It's antithetical to the life force.
It's also choosing between two masters. You choose the master that oppresses you, or you choose the master that you are, that walks above any fray, any problem, any issue.
Thank you. I'm done for right now.
Okay. Thank you.
Do you have a follow-up, Audrey?
Audrey?
No? Is the screen locked?
It appears as though it is.
Yeah. While Audrey is coming on, I want to add something that Evelyn reminded me of that I think is relevant to this conversation, and it may help someone else here. This week, I was sharing something with Chris on yesterday, a friend of mine. We got off the phone Monday, and I was just jubilant. And I started meditating even while we were talking about praying for people, and meditating and I felt good and got up Monday morning, felt good. But when I got into my flow of the day, I started feeling depression coming on. And it was something that I said, wow, where's this coming from? I don't know where. And that went on for a couple of days. And I started thinking about it. I stopped and think, okay, what is wrong? There's absolutely nothing wrong. Why are you feeling this way? And I thought about my childhood, and it didn't dawn on me till probably about Wednesday morning. And I thought, wow, you're kind of slow, Ron, but that's okay. You got it. Uh, when I was growing up, there was always chaos. There was always something going on that was disruptive. Uh, and that was in my environment, uh, you know, just what I recognized in all of that was my norm. And anytime I felt good, my mind would try to pull me back to what was normal. So operating in a low frequency was my norm. It was my place of comfort. So here we are, we're elevating ourselves and each other, and we're moving out of these places. And that hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, this is something that this is where you've always been, but it doesn't mean you have to stay there. And the meditations and things that we study, because a lot of times, as Evelyn was talking about her mood, we probably don't know why we're there. We don't know why we feel that way, but it's something that may or may not have anything to do with your environment at that time. But just remember where we are and who we are. We have a chance to change that. I just thought that was important because it kind of was an eye opener to me. Operating at a low
And
frequency is probably something that touches all of us at some point.
and piggybacking on that as well, Ron, it doesn't have to be us. We are antennas. We are spiritual antennas.
Yeah.
We pick up on energies, and it could very well have been someone else's energy that you were picking up on, and you have to just transpose that energy so that it doesn't affect your environment. But in transposing that energy, you potentially affect the sender who you picked it up from.
You're right. Yeah, you're exactly right.
That's a classic example, Barbara, of being the life force in the earth. The presence of Elohim always has influence over the life in the earth. Excuse me, because that is the reason we are here and we are who we are. Remembrance, spiritual remembrance is not remembrance as we have been taught remembrance is. Spiritual remembrance is an experience that you have that resonates. Remembrance, as we have used it previously, talks about being able to recall something that you were taught earlier. And you don't necessarily have to have an experience in order for you to remember a previous lesson. But it is necessary for you to know that when something resonates, that in itself is spiritual remembrance. That's all.
Okay.
I was writing things last night after I was inspired. The thing that one of the things that I wrote is I'm getting an echo. I'm going to say this, then I'm going to shut it, go off and come back on, okay? When we talk about something resonating with us, that is actually our ashe in action. And once I come back on, I will delve more into that than what that means, rather, as opposed to just leaving it hanging out there. So if there are questions that you want to entertain until I get back on, please, Ron, go ahead and do that, or anyone if you met for that matter. But I need to get off because this echo is driving me crazy. Okay.
I'm sorry, I was on mute. Any questions or comments?
Good morning, everyone. I'm hearing the echo too, but I'll make it work. Um, Someone said something about the essence of Elohim, and one essence of Elohim that I greatly admire is Elohim wants you to be good, yet Elohim also wants you to be gooder or goodest than the Elohim. Because you live in a world where people may want you to do good, but they may not want you to do gooder or goodest than them. That's not a trait of Elohim. And I greatly admire people who want to see me do good and they want to see me advance more than they are. So that's just one of the things that I want to bring, that a person may want you to be good, which is a trait of Elohim, yet if they elect not for you to be gooder or goodest than them, that's not Elohim. Thank you.
I'm back. For those of you who are unable to see that I'm back. There is a differentiation between human attributes, characteristics, and those attributes and characteristics of Elohim. Human characteristics that are seemingly always present are the characteristics that does not allow us to even consider being Elohim. These human characteristics results in our being more attuned to the mindset that we were reared with, and that is the mindset of the European laced with Christianity. There is no best rather, with Elohim. It's just simply Elohim, period. Because every attribute and characteristic of Elohim is beneficial to the whole of humanity, as opposed to simply being beneficial to a handful of people or to the individual who recognizes its essence. So, excuse me. I see Audrey is back. Before I talk about Ashe, I want to ask you, Audrey, for your input that you had earlier when Evelyn was raising the questions.
I'm sorry, say again?
Did you have input earlier when Evelyn was raising her questions?
No, I was just having a lot of Zoom problems.
Oh, okay. Okay. Because I still have that echo and I cannot figure out where it's coming from. So
Yeah, I might get kicked off again. I don't know what's going on.
I want to go ahead, George.
Reb, I heard an echo too, and I know you were off. Did you give a response to what I said, or?
I did. Would everyone make sure that your phones are muted? Let's see if that helps. And maybe just in the system itself. Okay. Well, I don't hear the echo now. So go ahead, George.
What I stated was
I heard you.
Okie doke then. All right then.
Yeah,
well, is that a essence of Elohim? 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 that an individual wants to see another individual do good, I believe that is a trait of Elohim. Yet, if the individual does not want that individual to be good or goodest than them, I don't view that as a trait of Elohim. Is that
I responded to that.
factual?
Um,
Okie doke.
yeah, I responded to that. I would, are you close to someone, George, who is also on Zoom?
I'm down here in the country, Reverend Richard. Ain't no one close to me.
Okay. With 309, make sure your phone is muted, please. Okay, thank you. My response to that was simply that what you were alluding to are human characteristics, human traits, because there is no method of quantifying the attributes of Elohim. Either you're Elohim or you're not. There's no sliding scale when we are talking about the characteristics of Elohim. There may be an argument for a sliding scale when it comes to you embracing that you're Elohim, but the actual essence of Elohim is not a sliding scale at all. It either is or is not. It's just that simple. So I hope that is clarity in regards to that. But thank you for raising it, George. Are there any other questions or comments?
Pastor, before you go into everything, I want to change the topic for just a moment before you move forward. I'm noticing here lately in the atmosphere, we've talked about the atmosphere needed to be cleansed and how the elders used to say we needed that first snow to cleanse the atmosphere. And I noticed that a lot of things are going on when people go out because the atmosphere has not even been cleansed since COVID was at its highest peak. And now we're getting all of these gale force winds. I'm sitting here while we're talking, and I'm thinking part of the interference today with everything is the wind is so high. It's like March winds in December. Does any of this have anything to do with the cloud of ancestors moving to cleanse the atmosphere, or is it just, could that be part of what's going on right now?
Thank you for that question. The presence of the winds and other aspects of the weather that you're talking about are the way that they are because of the chaos that is governing now. As far as the ancestral cleansing of the atmosphere is concerned, the ancestral cleansing of the atmosphere happens when in conjunction with our desires. The ancestors bring us answers. The ancestors give us guidance. The ancestors move through the air in terms of reshaping things or reorganizing things or bringing order to things when there is a desire, for lack of a better word, at this moment between the desire of those who are in these bodies with the desire of those who have transitioned from these bodies. So what I'm saying in essence is that our desire is that the atmosphere be cleansed and order be brought to it, just as our desire is for order to be brought to humanity itself. All of this works together. And the reason that we are seeing things to a greater depth that we've been talking about, the ancestors, libations, etc., the session we had a couple of weeks ago. All of these things are being brought together for the express purpose of bringing that cleansing to every aspect of this earth. Right now, I think the most visible place that we would be able to see the cleansing or the order taking form would be in the weather, because that's one of the things that we are most attuned to, especially during the changing or the entering of another season. So I hope I answered your question, Kathy.
You did, but I was thinking we're having some problems and things today at first, and then I started thinking, wow, this is probably a cleansing taking place, because we don't usually have March winds in December. And so it's a seasonal thing and all of that. So I wanted to know the spiritual implications of that. So yes, you did answer my
Thank you.
question. So thank you.
Thank you for raising it. One of the things that that I would like to say as we move into this understanding or this discussion of Ashe is, this morning, one of the things I said is, my desire is for Ashe to be housed in every word that leaves my lips, that it may benefit those who are desirous of deliverance and those who are in search of their spiritual essence, which really is saying that they are in search of the experience that we have with Ashe. There is a experience, there is a feeling, there is an essence that is experienced when we say Ashe, when Ashe record, when I say when it resonates with you. Right now, each time that I say the word Ashe, I have this experience that touches my soul. And I believe it is so because of some of the things that I have been exposed to, as well as some of the things that I have been shown in regards to the essence of Ashe. When we talk about Ashe, we are not simply saying that Ashe comes at the end of a in-depth discussion, or Ashe is expressed because something resonates with us. Ashe is always present, and Ashe should always does resonate with us, whether we are experiencing it or not. Ashe is a force that builds, but it also destroys. And Ashe, the actions of Ashe is directly connected to what your desires are. If your desires are, if you desire to have, or if you're avaricious, or if you're greedy, then Ashe responds to that. If you are a giver, Ashe responds to that. Ashe is not, it's not only an energy. Ashe is a consciousness. It is, Ashe is alive. It is divine. There are things I wrote last night about this, and I would like to share some of those if I may. Ashe is the essence that flows through everything that exists. Ashe is the essence that makes a river flow and a tree grow. It is the very thing that creates. It is the essence of life itself. Ashe flows through the words that we speak when we call on our ancestors. Ashe is that experience that you feel, that you have, that you cannot explain. And we have previously spoke of it as being the presence of the spirit, or that the tingling type feeling that we have. That is the presence of Ashe. Ashe is the essence. That is the essence in the spoken word that brought existence into being. It is the power that manifested beginning from the desire of the Creator. Ashe is in the cry of those who are in bondage. When we are aligned, when we are in rhythm, it's the essence of Ashe that responds to our cry. The Ashe is the rhythm of the drum beat and the voice of the priest that calms the chaos of Akabalon, of the Akabalonian community. The question that Kathy raised earlier about the whether Ashe is the common force that we speak when we seek a calmness to the high winds, or hurricanes, or the tornadoes. Ashe is carried on the wind. It is under each ray from the sun, and it is in the bosom of the desire of one who vibrates with the essence of Ashe itself. Ashe is not energy like light or fire. It listens, it responds, it defies a definition. It also defies explanation. Ashe is unseen power, an unspoken word, yet its essence is everywhere and everything and all things. Ashe is filled with purpose, is never empty. Ashe awakens the power within, yet is more than the energy that awakens. Ashe is in the midst of all things and is without the external of all things, meaning that Ashe is in the midst of everything, but is also present outside of everything. Ashe is the life force flowing from the creation, from the Creator. Uh, it is at the same time, it is the inner feelings, the inner expression of the Creator, while it is at the same time the flow from the Creator. Ashe is deliverance and the sustainer of those in bondage, and it is the bondage at the same time. Ashe is the deliverer from bondage, yet it is also bondage. It is of deliverance from bondage that is adverse to the aspects of Elohim, and it is bondage by desire of those who seek to be one with Elohim, to be one with the universe, to be one with the essence of everything that is. Ashe is the essence that sustains the Akashic consciousness, while at the same time, it is also the Akashic consciousness. Ashe is the agent of change and the agent of stagnation. Ashe changes everything, but Ashe also is the agent of stagnation, because Ashe is that essence that will hold you in place while you seek to understand who you are, where you are, and where and how you should move on this journey. Ashe is the thread that weaves the above with that which is below. It is the seen and it is also the unseen. Ashe is the river that drowned the soldiers of Pharaoh, but made a pathway of escape for those who had been in bondage to Pharaoh. Ashe is the source of freedom and deliverance to the sons and daughters of Akabalon. Ashe bends reality and brings our needs and our desires into existence. Ashe is Ashe is the agent that bent the reality of our desires to bring peace to humanity, and in bending existence, what it actually has done is revealed everything that needs to be changed, and it has done that by virtue of allowing bondage to overtake at the same time to free from bondage, meaning that there are those who have recognized that they are in bondage to something that is destructive to them, something that has become a wall that separates them in their mindsets from the reality of who they were created to be. Ashe is the emancipator as well as the vision of the emancipated. Ashe is sleep that overcomes the oppressor and the essence of that which allows the oppressor to self-destruct. While at the same time, Ashe is building a world in the face of of oppression itself. It is a frequency. Ashe is, as I said earlier, is more than resonance. Ashe is the essence of resonance, while at the same time it is that. Ashe only responds when you are aligned with the cosmos. Ashe tells us who we were before we were told to forget who we were. Ashe is much more than anything that I can write on a pad or a page. Ashe exceeds anything that I can verbalize in reference to its essence and how it functions in our lives. Ashe is it intertwined. It intertwines us to the extent that we are able to truly be one with each other. And Ashe is that thread that binds us even to together with those who don't know who they are, who have no desire to know who they are. Ashe is that thing that pricks our hearts and causes tears to flow with no known cause. Ashe is that essence that we deeply need to have flowing through, or to recognize rather, that flows through us, that our words, our actions, our presence will have a beneficial effect on humanity. So, in essence, what I am saying is that Ashe is everything, but is no thing at the same time. Are there any questions or comments or additions as to what I have presented to you at this moment? Does it make sense to you? Does it give you a clearer vision or a more in-depth sense of what Ashe is?
Yes.
I have a question, comment, maybe. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, Audrey.
Okay. Um, it's interesting what you're saying, because it sounds like you're saying a shay exists in like a duality. Um, but also in the duality, it forms kind of an equilibrium or balance. And that's just interesting to me, because Well, I talked about the Dogon a few years ago. That's the kind of thing they believe. They believe in that sort of twinness that 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 the opposite or the duality exists to form the balance. It seems to me that that's kind of what you're saying.
I am saying that and saying that Ashe is everything. I mean, there is absolutely nothing that does not involve the essence of Ashe, be it duality, yes, or be it um, more complex than a duality. There is absolutely nothing that exists or flows that is outside of the essence, the presence of Ashe. One of the major understandings that I embrace in regards to Ashe is that even if I walk into a room and I am upset or I am in a bad mood and I know, yet I choose not to change it, Ashe is present even in that. And if I continue in that mood, uh, and begin to make life miserable for other people, Ashe is involved in that misery that I bring. But at the same time, um, I am going to have an experience that is unwanted by me as a result of um, my attitude, knowing that I purposely walked into a space with the attitude that I had. Ashe is also that force that reminds me of who I am and reminds me of that attitude and grants me the privilege to change that attitude. Um, when I said that Ashe escapes explanation, something I've experienced very deeply, that it is an essence that goes far beyond description. It goes far beyond any box that we can put it in. It escapes the ability of the mind to process it. It is a soul a soul experience, an experience that ties the base of the Kundalini to the crown. Uh, it is that experience that steps into the sepulcher of death and brings forth life, but it is also that force that brings death, and the death that it brings us to all those things that interferes with the presence and desires of you to elevate. So Ashe um, uh, uh, is that river that flows into the ocean, and it is the ocean that from which the rain is drawn. Ashe is the source that draws the moisture from the ocean, but leaves the salt behind so that life can be given to the plants without being killed by the salt of the ocean. Ashe is that stream that no one pays any attention to, that flows into that river that everyone talks about, that creates or brings into existence or returns to that ocean. Ashe is that force that grants us to understand that the children of Akabelon being in the diaspora, regardless of what we talk about or desire, it always carries us back to the ocean of Africa, off of Cabelon. So, and I can go on and on, of course, about this Ashe because it speaks so loudly, but at the same time, it speaks extremely softly. And right now, as we speak, our desires have been expressed in regards to the the desire for the cleansing of the environment, the atmosphere that we live in. Ashe is at work fulfilling these desires. Ashe is at work flowing through everything that is for the express purpose of bringing balance to humanity. It is uprooting everything that has created havoc for mankind. Ashe is that force that raised questions in us that caused us to desire to understand what's truly being said in the words in the in the scriptures. Ashe is the source that gives us understanding of those words that are written on the pages of scripture. Ashe is that force, is that intelligence, it is that presence, it is that understanding, that knowledge that gave us the opportunity to understand what is truly being said as opposed to what we were told was being said. Right now, Ashe is it is that force that is that is just transferring the wealth from the wicked. Uh, it is a transformation force that right now, as we speak, is filling the hearts of humanity with love and kindness. Ashe is that force that brought an end to the duality of the monster of the sea and the monster of the land that Revelation speaks of. Ashe is that life force that opened our eye to be able to see that the monster of the sea is religion and the monster of the land is government, and they are intertwined with each other. Ashe is that essence that help us to see that the 666 is not the mark of a beast, but it is an expression of the reality of the children of Akabalon and their divinity in this earth. Ashe helps us to understand that that the children of Akabalon are the life force of this earth, and that is why the number is 666, the number of carbon and life. The basis of life is carbon itself. Ashe is all of these things. Ashe is the force that flows through the words that flows from my mouth and the thoughts right now that are flowing through your mind. Is the energy force, it is the life force, it is everything that you are experiencing at this very moment and that you experience every nanosecond of your life. So when we say Ashe, it is more than simply saying let it be or let it be so. Ashe is an acknowledgement of the cohesiveness of everything that is life, the cohesiveness of everything that exists. Ashe is the unicity, yet it is the one. Ashe is an expression of one yet many. Ashe is the mindset that grants us an understanding of what it looks like to be one yet many. It is more than a thread. It is not only the thread, but it's the maker of the thread. It is everything that we can ever consider in our minds. That is Ashe, and Ashe is even more than that. I'm done.
Pastor, I have a question
Yes.
or comment/question. While you were speaking, I saw breath. Does that have anything to do with Ashe also?
Ashe is breath. Ashe is breath. Ashe is everything. It flows through everything. It flows through your breath. There is no life without it. It's I'm not making an effort to define it, because it defies that, yet at the same time, I'm being granted permission to be expressive of what it does as opposed to what it is. Because when we talk about what something is, it confines it, and it is an impossibility to be able to confine Ashe to any one thing because it is everything, yet it is no thing. And I hope that makes sense to you guys. Thank you, Evelyn.
And it does. Because you spoke of all the elements of the earth, I thought about when Kathy mentioned the wind and all the elements. When Kathy spoke about the wind and everything, and then you telling us about all the, like you say, you can't define it, but while you were talking, I just saw breath. And
It is
you
your
talk, and
meditation.
breath is consciousness. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it
I
is
just see a
you.
lot of stuff.
Breath is you. Ashe is your meditation. Ashe is also the essence of what guides you through meditation. It is that flicker on the wick of that candle that's not really touching the candle. It is the force that opens your eye so that you can become aware of those things that you have been since the beginning. Ashe is that force that helps you to see that the same skin that you have on your body right now is the skin that existed from the beginning. The same DNA that's in you now is the DNA from the beginning. And the proof of that is this: the DNA for every group of people on the earth is in the African or the Babylonian female. The femininity of Babylon houses that, and that was so from the beginning. So is it now, and so shall it be forevermore. There is no separation rating of it. If we look at the things that we have had to travel through while in this earth, there is no way that we should have been able to survive the trip from that landmass of Babylon to this landmass of Babylon. There is no way that we supposedly, as humans, were supposed to survive that and to continue to move forth with prosperity based upon the treatment that we received. When you look at what happened with us, and the same thing happened with the other groups of people, they exist no longer or in small numbers. Yet here we are, still producing and thriving. Why? Because you cannot kill God. You cannot kill Ashe, because Ashe is that force that allowed us to have material prosperity 20 years after coming out of enslavement without any money, any land, or without any help from any governmental source. And being able not only to sustain ourselves, not only to stay alive, but to thrive in the midst of all of the adversity that was meted out toward us. And even when the night riders were burning our stores and killing our babies, we still were able to thrive and move forward. We had no opportunities given to us, yet all white men had all the opportunities given to them, and their jealousy of our prosperity still exists because it is the Ashe that has guided our footsteps, our minds, our hearts. And even to this day, when we are asked, and would you exchange who you are? Would you rather be a Caucasian than to be black? If you have opportunity to be prosperous and be free from the bondage and the hatred And I'm not spoken with a child of a Cabelon who would accept that. Why? Because there is something in us that is different. And the thing that in us that's different is Ashe. Ashe says that you cannot be a Caucasian and embrace the material world and be happy, because that's not who you are. Your joy does not come from things. You are the joy that people are seeking. Ashe says that you are a God. So why would you give up being God in order for you to be a mere man? When you understand that the mindset of a mere man is not the mindset of the children of a Cabelon. Ashe says to us, be proud of who you are, but don't be caught up in pride. Be proud of who you are, because you are the source of life in this earth. But don't get caught up in pride, because pride comes before the fall. Ashe is all of these things and more. So every time one of you say something, it opens up it opens up another understanding and guides to another space of clarity that grants us this privilege of being more aware and more attuned to the rhythm of the drumbeat of our hearts, and being more attuned to the frequency of the universe, and with a deeper desire to live a life of alignment with the universe, with the frequency itself, and to move with the beat of our hearts. It is that thing that brings tears, and you sit and you cry, and you don't know why you're crying, but Ashe does. And you're bringing solace to those who are in pain, and the pain is so deep that they cannot bring themselves to tears. The pain so it is so frightening until they have become paralyzed with their fears. But with our crying out and Ashe responding, it heals the paralysis and grants a sight, so that when the paralysis is gone, when the paralysis is healed, we are able to move forth and seek the understanding of the past, the understanding of the ancients, the understanding that our ancestors have held for us from time immemorial. We are the essence of Ashe in this earth. And right now, the reason that you are experiencing is almost like a swirl that is taking place. It's as though when my eyes are closed, as they are, there is a light that is flowing from heart to heart, from soul to soul, and it is not a light that is broad as much as it is a ribbon of light that flows and sparkles, and at the same time that ribbon of light is the same light that existed before the physical bodies were brought into this earth. Because when we really think about it, we existed before existence existed, and we exist now in these physical bodies, yet we existed before there was a body to exist in. And because we existed before existence, and existence brought us into these bodies, that says to us that is the reason that we are the life force in the earth, and that everything in the earth was birthed from our existence in the earth, and nothing can end the existence of that which existed before existence existed. And right now, what is taking place is those things that were not so in the beginning are being are being transformed into what is so from the beginning, that is so now and forever shall be. So when we look at the chaos in the earth, what we are seeing is a type of chaotic existence that was not to be so, yet here it is. And it was not brought into this earth in a chaotic way. It brought about chaos after it exited the presence of its creator, after it flowed from the womb of its birth mother. It is that chaos that was brought into existence as a result of the Neanderthal presence in the midst of those who flowed from the womb of the cosmic mother. And here we are in the presence of all of this chaos, knowing that it is because of the presence of Ashe that we are able to bring order to this chaos, that we are able to overcome this chaos, but first having to open the eye of those who have bought into the chaos and desire to be one with this chaos. First, they have to see that they are not chaos. They were never meant to be chaos. And then when those mindsets have been transformed, it is then that we can settle down and see how Ashe reveals everything that is necessary for the peace of humanity to take root in this physical world and be as below, so is above, all at one time. So when we when we when we seek the understandings, it is the Ashe that is seeking the understandings, but it is also the Ashe that brings the understanding, but it is also the Ashe that is the understanding. Yet it is the wisdom as well. I'm done. Ashe is all of it. Ashe. Ashe is the universe, and the universe is Ashe. We are Ashe. Our experiences are Ashe. There is no such thing as a remnant. We are not a remnant of anything. We are everything. It was not a remnant that was brought out of Egypt. It was everything, meaning that there is no such thing as a remnant of the children of Akebalon. The children of Akebalon are who they were from the beginning and still is now. We never have been a remnant. Yes, we came across the great waters in ships. But keep in mind, the ones who brought us across the great waters in ships and shackles are the ones who came from our womb and found a pathway contrary to the pathway that they were to travel. And as a result of that, became infected with a Neanderthal gene that altered the pathway. And it is up to us, the creators of life, the life itself, to bring order even in the midst of the chaos of the European mindset, of the Neanderthal mindset, because we are Elohim. We are not one Elohim is better than the other, one Elohim is less. No. We are Elohim. There is no better, there is no less. There is no characteristic of Elohim that exists that desires to destroy everything that is. It exists to transform that which seeks to destroy so it can become an asset to humanity, an asset to itself, as opposed to being self-destructive with a desire to destroy everything else. Right now, we are looking at a billionaire class who appears to have all of the cards in their hands. Right now, we are looking at a billionaire class who is seeking to reclaim the power that has been wrung from their hands. They are seeking the portals that they know exist beneath the earth in order for them to be able reappropriate the powers that brought them to where they are. We as a people must understand that we are the last ones who believe that there are portals that exist within this earth. And we have been taught by Christianity that they don't exist. We have been taught by Islam that they don't exist. And at the same time that we are being taught that they don't exist, the ones who push Christianity on us are searching for the portals. The ones who push Islam on us are searching for the portals. There is no different than the mindset of an Arab and the mindset of a European. They are synonymous. They are one with each other. And it is important for us to understand that a portal responds to those who seek the opening of that portal for the benefit of humanity. Even the energy of those portals will respond to whoever embraces that energy and for whatever purpose they embrace it. And that is how that European mindset has been able to control, because the children of Akebalon has been in denial about who they are. The children of Akebalon have been taught that to speak of a portal is to be suspicious and pagan. The children of Akebalon have been taught that to believe that Egypt was never a place, but it was an expression of being caught up in a tight space as opposed to being a place. But we have been taught that there is no such thing as a consciousness that came out of Kemet. We have been taught that when we talk about the Egyptian, we are talking about people who occupy the land today, as opposed to understanding that when we talk about Egypt, we are talking about Kemet being put in a box and held there because Kemet, the priesthood in Kemet, chose to yield to the force, the brutal force of the European mindset. And as a result of that, brought into existence a type of Egypt that is expressive of a geographical location, as opposed to a position of servitude, a place of enslavement, a spiritual enslavement. And now here we are. We have opportunity because we know better, because we see clearer that this journey out of the confines of slavery in this place. I'm talking about spiritual slavery. The freedom from spiritual slavery comes when the eye opens, and that spiritual slavery that we have been caught up in is Christianity. And now that we see better, we understand that it is more dangerous. It is more difficult to be freed from this spiritual slavery of Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, and all the other isms. It's more difficult to be free from them, but it's not impossible. It's not impossible. It is a necessity that freedom from this spiritual slavery takes place in order for humanity to be redeemed, in order for the earth to be redeemed from the shackles of men whose minds are not minds as our minds are, whose thoughts are not our thoughts, whose ways are not our ways. They have no idea what Elohim has in store for them. Eyes have not seen, ears have not heard what we have in store for humanity. And it is imperative that we hold on to that, because we are the eyes and we are the ears that must bring to humanity those elements that are necessary for humanity to be one with each other and to live in an earth free of the of spiritual bondage and free of greed. I'm done. Thank you. Ron, I'm done.
Yeah, I know.
I'm done.
Questions or comments, anyone?
This is Vermel.
I have.
Go
Go ahead,
ahead.
Romeo.
Okay. Ashe is all and everywhere and everything. So for those Neanderthals, Ashe is even within them. They're just not
No,
aware.
no.
No. Clarity?
If Arshay was there present, the mindset would be different.
So then Ashe would come to them if they desired it.
No,
Not at all.
this is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Arshay is when you submit to the teachings, when you submit to the presence of Arshay being what it is then that you begin to live in peace. The only gods in this earth are the children of Akabalon. That's the bottom line. And no matter how much we desire for everybody to be God, that is not going to happen, and it never has been and never shall be. It is God who brought humans into this earth. Yet the gods who brought humans into this earth have chosen to live as mere men, meaning that have chosen to live as humans as opposed to living as gods. And the created would never be the creator. The creator is the one who does the creating, but the created is not the creator, even though the created has the ability, if it chooses uh, to be submissive to the mindset of the creator. That submission to the mindset doesn't make you God. It makes you a human with a divine mindset. And we as a people have always made the dire mistake of trying to make everybody us. Nobody wants to be us. Nobody really cares about us. Nobody would exchange places with us. We are the most despised people on the face of the earth. And yet we know we're the God of the earth. So why is it that we believe that the tree that is created is going to become the creator? It is going to remain a tree that is that is affected by the environment that it lives in, but it's still a tree. Accept who you are, and don't try to force everyone to be who you are, because nobody wants to be who you are. Not even us. The Somalis don't want to be us. They want to be Arabs. Just because you speak an Arab language, just because you have embraced Islam, it does not change who you are. You are an Babylonian, whether you accept it or not. Now, all of a sudden, the European mindset is oppressing them in a way that we were oppressed. The European mindset has caught up with their thievery because they had the same mindset of the European. Now, all of a sudden, they're crying out for us to come to their rescue, because now they see us as a political force and they don't see themselves as the gods who they were created to be. We are not a political force. We are a spiritual expression of everything that is and everything that's been created, because nothing was brought into existence that we did not bring into existence, and no one came into existence that did not exit the womb of those of a Cabelon. That's the simplicity of it. And we need to stop trying to make everybody be us. Everybody is not us. If you don't have melanin, then you are not the source of life. Melanin is the source of life. We look at our black skin, and those who look at our black skin despise us because of the black skin. They despise us because of the melanin. They despise, which means that they despise life itself. And don't tell me they don't know. Yes, they know. They despise life itself, the observance of how we have been able to navigate in a world that was built against us, how we are able to survive when no one else could survive what we have survived. Well, you can't tell me that you're not aware of the divinity that we are. The existence of our divine nature in this earth is undeniable. It's undeniable. Look at us. We reproduce and we move forward even though we don't embrace who we are. Look at who we have been. Look at how things have transpired in our lives over the years. In spite of our denial, in spite of us hating to be black, in spite of us hating to live next door to each other, in spite of us being ashamed of our history, in spite of us knowing more about the lies about European history than the truth about our own history. We have chosen to live in a mindset that does not fit who we are. And just because those who are created by us begin to change their mindsets towards us, it does not make them us. And I think Kendrick Lamar said it clearly. They are not like us. And you can call it racist, you can call it hateful, you can call it deceitful, you can call it anything that you want to call it. But
Sure.
just because you call it that does not mean that that's what it is. It's just that simple. You can put kittens can be birthed in the oven, but just because they were born in the oven, it doesn't make them biscuits.
Thank you for the clarity of my misunderstanding.
Thank you for the question. There are things that we need to put in the macro with a clarity.
Thank
Why is it that we have such a problem with being who we are and want everybody else to be us when they don't want to be us?
I think the Somalis are laboring under that same kind of idea because most of the Somalis in the US are Somali Bantus, meaning
Yes,
their origin was African.
yes,
They were taken as slaves into Somalia by the Arabs, and were never quite accepted as Arabs, which is why they ended up in refugee camps during the war, because they were the ones being slaughtered first. And they ended up in refugee camps because they were Somali Bantus, not because they were Somalis.
right.
And that's how most of them got to this country, through the refugee program. So they are laboring under the idea of being Arab when truly their origin is not Arab. So it's the same kind of thing, the mindset.
The mindset.
But the question I wanted to ask is, you mentioned 666 being the mark of the children of Cabulon. Did I hear that right? And could you
Yes, life.
elaborate on that?
Yes, I will. Just as the rest of the scripture has been manipulated, so has this. 666 is the number of carbon, and life is carbon based, and carbon itself is black. And that number 666 was attributed to being the mark of the beast because those who manipulated that particular scripture understood the power of the African knowing that what 666 really means and the power that is inherent in understanding the number of 666. That is why they mark that. That is why they attributed it to being the mark of the beast that says that in order for you to buy food, in order for you to buy goods, you're going to have that mark in your forehead, which means that it is saying you are going to be under the control of the greedy ones in the earth. You're going to be under the control of the governmental forces that will force you to do their biddings. That's that's the manipulation of it. When we really look at this, especially when we look at it from Revelations 18, when it talks about how the wealth is going to be transferred from the greedy to the needy. So when I make this statement about 666, it is based upon the same principle that Jesus was a Caucasian. The reason Jesus was painted as a Caucasian is to subliminally say to Africans, we are your gods. The reason 666 was taken away from what its true meaning is to say that Africans are the beasts of the land.
Okay, got it.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Hey, Rip, I got a comment. This is Charles.
Uh-huh. How you doing, Charles?
I'm doing perfect, man. Doing real good. He said if I keep doing like that, I get to come home tomorrow. I don't know what time, though.
Okay, it don't matter. You'll
But
be home tomorrow. Go ahead.
yeah. The question I'm gonna ask, I know everybody know that, is in Isaiah and Genesis. It says, "Is anything too hard for God or Elohim?" So I was looking at that and kept telling myself, you know what he's saying? It's telling us as we are gods, there's nothing too hard for us to accomplish, to do, or stand on, or believe. I said first, I thought we were talking about God himself, but I know that. But if we are gods with the God that made us God, we should have that same ability.
No, Charles. We're not sure. We have that. There is absolutely nothing too difficult for us to accomplish. And please let me elaborate. That is proven throughout history. You're brought into a country and your language is taken away from you. Your spiritual beliefs are taken away from you. You are purposely paired with people who don't speak your language, your original language. You're forced to learn English and to forget the ways of your ancestors. And you being brought into this country, and instead of you forgetting the ways of your ancestors, you begin to augment your beliefs and you call them something that they are not. You begin to call Isis Mary, and you begin to call Heru Jesus. But the pathway of your ancestors, you know what you are saying. You begin to talk about ancestors by talking about the visitation of your great grandmama, or you begin to talk about the idea, the concept of reincarnation by saying that child has been here before. He's just like his granddad. He never saw him before. You begin that these are the attributes that have been a source in our communities from the inception of our being brought into this country. We are very much aware of who we are. We are just in denial of it. We know that Christianity was the death knell for us, but it didn't kill us. We know that this idea of the Holy Spirit is something that was created separately, external from humanity, for the purpose of telling us that we are not spiritual at all. We know that we were drugged through streets behind horses and torn to pieces. We know that we watched the babies be cut from the stomach of our women and stomped to death on the ground. All of these things that we have gone through, we know that there was an effort to wipe us out, especially during the end of slavery, and to keep prosperity away from us. Yet we thrived. Every single time, as Maya Angelou say, we rise. Why is it that we keep rising? Because we are the phoenix. And we always rise from the ashes. We know who we are deep inside, but we don't admit it in our verbalization of who we are. We would rather verbalize being a Caucasian, not by color, but Caucasian by desire and by greed, than to admit that we are Elohim, that we are the creators of this earth, the sustainers of this life, and there is absolutely positively nothing in this earth that we did not create. Even though it is called an invention, it is a creation from that which exists that we brought into this earth. So there is nothing that is too difficult for us to accomplish. It appears as though the most troubling thing for us to accomplish is an admission as to who we are. We would rather live being what we were told we are than to live being what we were told to forget. We must make a decision. Are we going to continue to live the lie that we have been told we are, or are we going to make the decision to be who we were created to be? That is a question that lies before every one of us. But even if the choice is to continue to remain in the mindset of the European, it doesn't matter. Why? Because that mindset is going to be trampled under feet. That mindset of unrighteousness is going to be overshadowed by righteousness. That mindset of hatred and death will no longer be the prevailing forces in the earth. And we will not be a party to the destruction of the earth and the manipulation of the spiritual essence of who we are. Because right now, as we have spoken today, there is no denying, neither is there any getting away from the reality that Ashe is everything and everything is Ashe. And Ashe, as we have spoken today, flows through everything in us. And that flow is touching humanity. That flow is touching the mindset that a Capelonian person has embraced, so as to make them uncomfortable to the extent that they walk away from this deep desire to live a life of being a barbarian rather than to live a life of civilization. I'm done. I hope that helped, Charles.
That helped, Rep, because like I said, we've been manipulated that we are the catch, but we're not the catch. They are. We are the lion.
This is the thing that we have to remember also. Don't get to the place where we begin to put people in categories of inferiority and superiority. No, we are servants. We are servants. And the servant does what? A servant serves. It is not our desire to annihilate anyone, but it is our desire to annihilate hatred, racism, and all those things that beset humanity. It is our desire to transform the mindset and hearts of those who have bought into a mindset that is detrimental, that is antithetical to spiritual essence of Elohim. I'm done. Thank you, Charles.
No, thank you, man.
Awesome. Any questions or comments?
I have a quick question before we go, family. Pastor, based on what has been said, if I heard you correctly, that Ashe, does that tie in or go hand in hand with being led by the ancestors? I hope I'm asking the question correctly.
Ashe.
Or do you understand what I'm trying to ask?
Yes.
Is it the essence of the ancestors, I guess, maybe?
Yes, it is. It's the essence of the ancestor, and it is that force that flows to the ancestors from us and from us to the ancestors. There is an ebb and flow between us. What flows to the ancestors? Our desires. Whether it's a desire for understanding, a desire for clarity, or desire for whatever. The ancestors allow the flow to us of the understanding that we desire, the pathway that we are to travel. This is not about, well let me tack this onto this as well. What we call prayer, first of all, as I said earlier, if you look at the book, it says that you are not supposed to pray in public. That's something that you do internally. Yet Christianity prays public all the time. Pray before a football game. Pray for a football team to win, like the Creator cares something about the football game. Pray before a service start in a church. Do an invocation. Pray over a dead body. Pray for this. Pray for all of them are public prayers. But the scripture clearly says no public prayers. You pray internally. This idea of prayer in Christianity is always asking for something. Forgive me. Give me a job. Give me this. Give me that. Take this person out of my life. Send me a wife. Send me a husband. Send me a boyfriend. All of these things. When the Babylonian prayer is simply acknowledgement. As I said earlier, acknowledging the existence of Ashe, the existence of ancestors, the existence of our Creator, the existence of the femininity of that through whose womb life came into existence. Acknowledgement. Let the words that flow from our mouth be filled with the presence of Ashe that allows the ancestors to speak to our hearts, the things that we need to know. And let the Ashe of the Cosmic Mother birth whatever is needed to be birthed in me, that we may be able to be one with that which flowed from our womb, one with humanity in peace and love and kindness. That's different than asking for something. It is acknowledging everything. Does that make sense to you, Jackie?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Pastor Rich, this is Angela. I have a question. When you were talking about
the portals. So are the portals?
Say again.
When you were talking about the portals, so are the portals that they're trying to access for their benefit would now be closed to them? Is it?
I'm saying to you that they are closed. That's what I'm saying to you. The access to
okay.
them is, let me put it this way. The access to them has been denied. Not today, but at some point, we're going to talk about pyramids and the portals in relationship to that at some point. Why? Because the earth is filled with portals. And the ones who are the European community who embraced that reality and saw it were the Greeks in the beginning of European incursion into Kemet. But the ones who brought into a state of organization were the Europeans, the Catholics out of Rome, more specifically. And they understood it by virtue of understanding the writings, the Kemetic writings that are hidden in the dungeons of the Vatican to this day. Freemasonry and the Knights of Columbus are the two entity groups that has as the foundation of their existence the spiritual essence of the East, more specifically what they call Egypt, which is actually Kemet. And when we look at Freemasonry and look at the Knights of Columbus, what we see is that the Freemasons approach it from the perspective of Protestant Christianity. And the Catholics approach it from Catholicism, which means identifies itself as a universal religion. And those two approaches from Europeans are the same. And if you look at these Europeans, you will see that the Europeans are the wealthiest people in the earth, and they became wealthy by treading on the hearts of Eastern humanity and by robbing them and by forcibly convincing them to believe something contrary to spirituality. And the most wealthy religion on earth is Catholicism. And it did exactly the same thing. And there was a battle between Protestantism and Catholicism. But now, as of 2000, that ecumenical conference that they had brought them together as one. So they buried the hatchet between the two of them, and now they have joined forces in an attempt to continue their control, manipulation, and greed in the earth. And those are the principalities that we are warring against. Those are the principalities that we have reappropriated the power from. We have denied them access to that power because we are the source of that power, and at the same time, we are the procurators of that power, that authority. So we will talk about the significance of these portals at another time. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Questions, comments? Okay, great discussion, guys. Let's hold it up here. Kind of pause for tomorrow evening, 6 o'clock, okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you,
See you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Enjoy your
Bye-bye,
day.
everyone.
Bye.
Take care, family.